see a pattern, a shortcut to graphing?
Wherever the arrow points, that's where
Yeah, so this is like an arrow. So if it points this direction, guess which way you're graphing?
Over there.
Same way, right? So it's like an arrow to point in which direction you're graphing. And it works out for every single problem, right? It's the same way. It's like an arrow, right? I like how Adrian called it an arrow. So it's a shortcut. They all go that way. So they're all shading, like this is pointing into the way that you're supposed to shade. Except when?
when there's a line under it.
No.
When they flip it.
When they flip this. So you see how all of these, even though there's a line there, they all start with X. X, 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 right? X. This problem, does this start with an X? No. This is pointing in this direction, but which way are we graphing? The opposite direction. Because they flipped this, you're going to flip the graphing. So if it starts with a number, you're not going to graph in the direction it's pointing. You can always rewrite it. Some kids rewrite it to make it look like in the direction it's supposed to go, right? So this is what makes it harder, and we'll practice this today. But I'm going to teach you something new-ish right now. So what today we're going to do, we're not going to graph inequalities, we're going to be writing inequalities. So Ben, let's turn that off. We're going to be writing inequalities on November 7th. Writing inequalities. Well, little bit, did you get it to work? Then do it later. Let's do this. Focus on this. It's fine. So we're going to start with a graph that's already graphed. 4, 3, 6, 7. All right, so draw me that number line. So we're going to start with a graph. So it's like the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday we graphed. Today we're going to write the inequality. So, open or close circle? Tell me. Close? All right, cool. Left or right?
Right.
All right, I heard a lot of rights. All right. So here's the graph. What is the inequality? Okay.
X is bigger or no.
Yeah, good. So, you want to get it right? Always start with your X. Always start with your X. Then what number is a circle on?
5.
Okay? So you're always going to start with your X, and then whatever number the circle's on, that's what you use. In which way is it shading? It's shading to the right. Oh, look what I just drew. I just drew the inequality, right? Which you called greater than. It's shaded, right? So what does that mean?
You have to put a line.
A little line on equal to part, little line. And that's it. So that's how we go backwards. Maybe it's easier than graphing. Well, you have to have an understanding of graphing to be able to do it. All right, give me a number.
10.
10. Open or closed?
Close.
I like open. Which way do you shade?
Left.
I love it. All right. What do we always start with?
X.
The X. Always start with the X. If you want to be right and have the easiest problem in the world, start with the X. If you want to complicate your life, start with the number. Why would you want to complicate your life? All right. What's the number the circle's on?
12.
12. Right? All right. So because you started with an X, it's easier. You just trace this. And whatever shape you created, like right there, is the shape you're going to use right there. And it's open, right? So do I add anything else? No. Nope, you're done. This graph says X is less than 12. And that's it. Pretty easy, right? All right, let's do a negative one. Give me a negative number. I heard negative 20. Now, tricky is what are the two numbers here and two numbers there? That's what kids always mess up.
Negative 21 on
In the front?
the back.
The back? So this is the left side. This is the right side.
Negative 21 on the left.
Yeah. Negative 21 on the left. Negative 22, right? And then 19, negative 18. All right, open or closed?
Open.
Open. Left or right?
Right.
All right. I mean, you're telling me what to draw, right? So, like, it doesn't matter. It's very easy to write down the inequalities. All right, what do we start with? X. And then the number where the circle's at. Where is the number where the circle's at? Negative 20. Because you started with the X, you trace this. Whatever this is, you write it down there. See? The greater than symbol. They match. It's open, so do I add the little line? No. Nope. You're done. And that's it. We're okay? Not okay? Is this easy? Not easy? How do we feel? We're okay? Do we want to do the hard worksheet first or second?
What's the difference?
Well, one's hard and one's not hard.
Okay, I want to do the not hard one.
You want to do the not hard one first? Well, good, because that's the one I hole punch. This is the easy one. I mean, if you understood this, then it'd be wear and tear. It is printed in color because we need to see the lines. All right. You might need to turn to this page if you don't know the difference between open circle and closed circle. A closed circle, you add the line. Open circle, you don't add the line. All right, number 1. What do you always start with? The X. What number do I put? 4, because that's where the circle is at. So always start with your X, and then what number do you have? Now, you see the blue line, right? So this arrow at the end of the blue line is your inequality. Its blue line is shaded this way. My arrow is over here, so I just copy it down. Now, is the circle colored in blue? Yes. So when it's shaded in, that means that there is an equal to line there. And that's it. Always start with your X. Always start with your X. When you're ready. So this worksheet, I kind of had to make my own and use a lot of whiteout. So for this worksheet, what do you notice? Yeah, you're going to graph it. And the inequality, what do you notice about the inequality?
It's flipped.
It's flipped, right? So it's all flipped. Give me a second. So 2 things you can do. 1, you can shade the opposite direction of what it's pointing to because it's rich in the opposite. So you can do that. Or you can rewrite it X. You're not going to use the same inequality. You're going to flip it. You see how it's pointing to the x. So I got to make sure it's pointing to the x. So it's the opposite inequality. And then -2. So you can rewrite it. And then it's an open circle. And then which way does it point? Oh, it points to the left. So I'm going to shade to the left. So you can rewrite it. If you rewrite it, then it points in the direction of shade. Or you can look at it and be like, okay, because it's opposite, written opposite, you have to shade opposite. So however you want to think about it. If you understand like, oh, I just have to shade opposite, cool. Or you can rewrite it and then it tells you which way to shade. So it's up to you. However you feel comfortable.